Hey y'all, we're doing subnetting. So far, we've talked about CIDR, subnet mask, network ID, broadcast IP. We are moving on to first host IP. These are the 7 subnetting facts. Every single subnetting problem you will encounter asks for one of these numbers right here. If you know how to calculate all 7 of these numbers, you will be able to answer any subnetting problem that you run into. So, what is first host IP? The first host is IP is the first usable IP address in a subnet. So let's take a look at our sample network here. We have a 10.0.0 network, and it's a /26 network, 4 subnets, 64 total hosts in each subnet. So let's take a look at the first subnet right here and answer these questions. In the first subnet, this is review. We're going back over 2 other videos we did. So what is the network ID of the first subnet? Well, what is network ID? Network ID is the first IP address in the first subnet. Now, look at these 2 definitions. First IP address, first usable IP address. They're very similar. So what is the network ID for the first subnet? Well, let's look at the first subnet. The network ID is 10.0.0.0, right? But the network ID is not usable. So what is the first usable IP address? Well, it would be 10.0.0.1. You got it right. Now, let's look at the next part of this question. What's the broadcast IP, right? The broadcast IP is what? It's the last IP address in the subnet. So 10.0.0.63. Again, that's a review question. So we answered all those questions. Did we get them right? Yes, we did. We got them right. That's great. So what's next? Next is last host IP. Any guesses as to what that is? We'll take a look at it next video.